It's mid-October, autumn's slowly advancing, and after a couple of dreary weeks of fog, drizzle and heavy skies, I was really ready for some sunshine and all set for what was forecast to be one of the most spectacular autumns in many years. Finally, a sunny day arrived, and all excited, I headed off to my local park. My day started off with a coffee in the car park. If I'm not chasing light, I like to sit, observe and connect with the surroundings before I start wandering off. I noticed the trees had an abundance of leaves with vibrant colours, and these old oaks looked magnificent with vivid orange leaves set against the crystal blue of the sky. I've always felt it's a shame that blue sky, sunny days have such a boring reputation for nature and landscape photography. For certain landscape shots I can understand why, but as you'll see in this video, at certain times of year, it couldn't be further from the truth. I couldn't help but notice this magnificent Acer. What a riot of colour, with the sun lighting up the leaves, revealing the jewel-like colours of oranges and deep reds. It was stunning. When I zoomed in, the whole scene changed. I noticed this single thread of spider's web glinting in the sun and being picked up on the breeze, and the soft glow on the edges of the seed pods with that gorgeous, shimmering bokeh in the background. It made a beautiful, moody photo which I was thrilled to capture as a start. This was one of those days where there was so much catching my eye. It took me an hour and a half to move 30 metres from the car park. The autumn light and colours were popping. There was so much beauty everywhere. I was already in raptures. I stood transfixed under this tree for ages, just watching the gentle sway and the golden leaves dropping like confetti at a wedding. I really liked this shot with the dark leaves against the golden out of focus background, but also changing focus gave me this lovely soft abstract effect which I thought really captured the movement and atmosphere of the scene. This year has been one of the hottest, driest summers here in the UK, and so it's been a mast year. The trees get stressed and produce more leaves, seeds and fruit than normal to ensure their survival. This creates an abundant autumn with richer colours that go on and on into winter. I enjoyed this moment, just standing soaking up the warmth of the sun, peacefully watching the gentle sway of the branch in the wind. I love the shape of this branch and the beautiful backlight behind the webs and seed cases. You just wouldn't get this glow on a dull day. By using a narrow depth of field, I was able to create that wonderful soft background. As I moved on, I spotted these round seed heads bobbing up and down on this London plane tree. I find them fascinating. I also love the shape and arch of the branches. They create so much movement and flow in the final photo. My only criticism is it's a pretty busy photo, so I moved around the tree looking for different compositions, as I wanted to isolate the subject from all that background. By putting the subject into shadow and using that blue sky as a coloured background, I created something much more simple. I was lucky to get that sunspot on the leaf to give that extra little dimension of glow and colour. I did this second edit, desaturating the background, and I love this just as much. Which do you prefer? Let me know in the comments below. This next tree gets me really excited. It's a black walnut. Now I've shot it many times, but I have to say this is the best light I've ever seen it in. The shafts of dappled sunlight glowed through the golden leaves, throwing the rest into shade. When I zoomed in, it created this caramelised colour with the black tones of shade, which I think looks gorgeous. In editing, I just tweaked the colour to give it a bit more depth and warmth. I think this was my favourite shot of the day. As the day went on, the wind started to get up. It was wonderful. I thoroughly enjoyed myself capturing all the movement and bluster of leaves flying around. I headed off into the woods. The sounds and smells were beautiful. The squirrels were playing an alarm calling, which always makes me laugh. They sound so cantankerous. Autumn seemed to be delayed up here, the leaves just turning, but I found this lovely composition of oak trees and loved the contrast between the dark trunks and greens. What would autumn be without birch trees? Such delicate leaves poised on wispy branches, with beautiful yellows and greens contrasting against the blue sky. To me, they always look so elegant, dancing with grace in the breeze, and as autumn moves on, those leaves change to gold, shimmering bright in dark, moody skies. As the afternoon draws in, I start losing the light and decide to continue on my autumn adventures in a different location on another day. A couple of weeks later, we visit Straw's Bridge, a small local nature reserve that I've not been to for some time. It features 3 man-made ponds along an old canal towpath and has some interesting nooks and crannies. By now, autumn has moved on, the light is lower and moving into a different phase. This autumn I challenged myself to capture more mood and atmosphere, and this particular day was really windy. I spotted this fabulous patch of reeds with their fluffy flowers glistening in the sun. It wasn't until I edited it I spotted the rays of light. This is a good example of going with the weather, being spontaneous and capturing the energy and feeling of the day. I absolutely love this view of the reeds. The colours and reflections in the water are gorgeous. As the sun starts to go down, the colours get rich and golden. Walking by the lake, I spot one of my favourite things: light bouncing on water through foliage and reflections. I just can't help myself. It's the magic that happens through the lens with all those abstract shapes, textures and sparkles that I find truly mesmerising. I don't even need to find a composition. It's just the thrill of shooting it, getting it back on screen and seeing what I've shot. After pulling myself together, I found this lovely patch of what I think is willow. Now this did make a lovely composition. I love the stripes and golden light. Just when you think the day's done and the camera goes away, how often do we get that little extra surprise? Back in the car park and I spot this. How gorgeous are these little daisies, and who would think they'd still be in flower? I just couldn't walk by and let this go. What I love about this little scene is the contrast of the soft, delicate daisies against the hard rocks and shale. That's then reflected with the colour too, soft white and yellow against the bluey grey, and to top it off, the weak shaft of sidelight just enough to highlight the daisies, which pulls them out of the background with a beautiful soft glow. What a moment to capture! As the sun goes down, I decide to scout out a new location the following day. And wow, What a day! I felt like I'd walked into a golden autumnal Narnia. The floor, the sky, everything was bright yellow and glowed. Golden birches and lime trees cascaded with shimmering leaves. It was so uplifting, exciting and truly magical. I found these little still pools created from all the rain, thick with layer upon layer of leaves. I love the 3D effect this creates and the warm colours. There's no editing here. This is a little secret place I found. On the face of it, it looks nothing spectacular, but no matter where you live, there'll be places like this that offer so much potential and joy. As we walked around the lake, the lime trees and reeds were casting some magnificent reflections. The abstracts and colours were insane. Finally, I spot this tiny leaf drifting quietly across the lake. At first it was side on and I was just willing it to turn, and slowly but surely it did. It was a little overexposed, so in editing I lowered the highlights and decided to clean up the water. Not realistic, but I felt it would benefit from that clean, glossy minimalist look, and I feel it did. If you've enjoyed this video and would like to know more, my free ebook The Calming Art of Nature Photography is available from my website. I guide you through how the art of nature photography can help relieve stress, anxiety and overwhelm. I share my favourite practical tips and photos to help boost your confidence behind the lens, and share my thoughts on light, composition and finding those hidden gems in your local landscape, helping you create unique photos of your own. I'll leave the link in the description below. Please do give this video a like and leave a comment, as it really does help my channel and community grow, and subscribe if you'd like to follow more of my calming photography adventures. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.